The ingredients for this recipe are really easy and simple. All you need is chicken breasts and your barbecue sauce of choice. So I got my cutting board and my knife. I'm gonna take my jewelry off too, so don't get that nasty. Just gonna dry any excess juices off my chicken because I did have to defrost it because it was frozen. And then I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm going to trim up my chicken. There's a little bit of fat on it, so I'm just gonna trim that off. And just so it's easier to fit into the crock pot and cook a little more evenly, I am gonna split the chicken breasts into smaller pieces. And get that in the crock pot. So now that's in the crock pot. Chicken in the trash. Wash my hands again. Alright, and now we're going to wipe the counter off. Alright, so even though we are going to be pouring this barbecue sauce on top, I'm still going to season it with salt and pepper. So we're going to take our salt. I use coarse ground salt. Normally I would use my fingers, but they're wet so they would stick. Get that in there. And then, really niche, but I don't know if you recognize this pepper grinder. It's from Guys Grocery Games. Bailey's mom got it for me because she knows I love Guy Fieri and that I love to cook, so. But yeah, super pretty. Looks fancy in the kitchen. Alright, and then we are going to be using an Applewood smoked honey maple barbecue sauce from Kroger. Never tried it before. I do like the Texas barbecue sauce. That's this private selection brand, so. So we're just going to take this entire, try it. Yeah, that's going to be good. Okay. So we're going to take this entire bottle of barbecue sauce and pour it on top of the chicken. We're going to cook that on high for 4 hours, or you could do it on low for probably 6. Just however long your crock pot takes to cook chicken is the normal amount of time to cook this, so. And then you just take your tongs and just start shredding the chicken. So now it's time to get plated up. So for our dinner tonight, we're gonna need broccoli. So we've got an orange and a red bell pepper. Need a 1/4 cup of water, some cornstarch to make a slurry. I'm gonna serve it with sushi rice. We need rice wine vinegar, soy sauce, some ginger. We're gonna need maple syrup, sriracha, garlic, cashews, a lime, and our tofu. So in our saucepan, we're going to take a 1/4 cup of the soy sauce. Then we also are going to need a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And then you're going to need a 1/4 cup of water. And I'll eyeball the garlic. Then you're going to want to take your ginger. The recipe says we need about 1 inch, so I'm going to take that much. And then peel the outside off, so I'm just going to take my knife and do it. We're just going to take a fine grater. We're going to just take that and shave it into the pot. We are going to need a tablespoon of lime juice. I have half a lime left over, so I'm just going to take my citrus press and get that in there. And then lastly, our sriracha, about a teaspoon of that. So I'm just going to eyeball about a teaspoon of that. So now we're going to heat this mixture over a medium heat. So now we are gonna prep the tofu for our pan, sheet pan. I have drained it and pressed out a little bit of the liquid. I'm gonna separate these veggies and tofu between 2 trays just because I want everything to have a good chance to get nice and crispy and soft. And just because I have it, I think I'm gonna add an onion to this recipe. There's not one on it, but onions will fit in nice with these flavors. So now that we've got these, I'm just gonna season these up with salt and pepper like I would any veggie or any sheet pan tray. And also, as you can see, I've got non-stick pan liners under these. If you want to do them straight on the tray, you can do that as well. These are just easier cleanup and they can go right in the dishwasher. So then we're gonna add pepper. We're gonna give these a quick toss. We've got our sauce that we cooked on the oven. It's very thick now thanks to the slurry of cornstarch that we used. So we're just gonna take this and toss our veggies in it. Thing I did forget was the cashews. Those go on top after you mix everything together. So I'm going to be putting these trays in the oven. The oven is 425 degrees and we're going to be cooking the first round for about 15 minutes. Then take it out, give it a little toss, and then we're going to cook it for about 10 more minutes. Also, in the meantime, while the veggies are cooking in the oven, I'm going to get started on our sushi rice. You need a cup of this sushi rice and 1 1/3 cups of water. And get that heated up. I've put a little bit of salt in there to help the water get to the boil. And so once the water's up to boil, we will add the rice in and then lower the heat, and you put a lid on and let that cook. And I shake the pot a little bit just to make sure the rice doesn't stick while it's cooking. Afterwards, you make a little mixture of sugar and rice wine vinegar and salt and mix it into the hot rice. That's what makes it sushi rice. All right, so our water's boiling, got our rice. I'm going to get a spatula and add the rice to the water. I'm gonna give that a stir, and then once it's to reduce the heat, throw a lid on. So the sheet pan trays are about to come out. I'm gonna bring them over, give them a quick toss, and then we're gonna get them back in the oven. I'm gonna take this spatula that my boyfriend's mom got for me. Really nice. It's called a fish spatula. We're just gonna take this and we're gonna toss the vegetables. Okay, now we're gonna get these back in the oven. So we're gonna set the timer for about 10 more minutes for the tofu and the veggies, and then we're gonna check back in. So now we are gonna make the mixture for the sticky rice. We need a 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar. We need 2 tablespoons of white sugar. And then we need a teaspoon of salt. And then you just want to take a fork and stir this until it's dissolved. Got my sushi rice. It's in the pan, still steaming. I'm going to take the lid off of that. And give that a quick stir. Okay. And then I'm going to pour this mixture over. Just give it a stir, make sure everything's coated. So our oven just went off, and now I'm going to get the pans out. And then give that another stir. So I'm going to go ahead and package this one up for our leftovers. There's our leftovers. I'm going to actually let this cool down completely before I put the lid on, and then we will get that in the fridge. Okay, so now to plate. We're gonna take some of our sushi rice. This is enough that'll last us 2 servings, so I'm gonna take tonight's serving of that. All right, and now I'm going to take my veggie tofu mix.